What happens in a breathwork session in a Montessori environment? There's a very specific process. So the guides call a circle time, or the guides call an individual presentation. But before we go into that, we as adults know that we must be in a beautiful space where we're grounded, we're regulated, we are prepared with the presentation of the materials, like our materials for teaching, our cards, our sensations and emotions, you know. So when the guide's ready and they have all the materials, then we can, like I said, either call a circle time or do an individual presentation. But the first thing to do is center. So we use our cards called centering breaths or transitioning breaths that are beautiful cards that can help us really quickly to center everyone and or to use them when we have tough transitions in the environment. So the first thing we do to warm up our bodies, of course, is to do centering breaths. After we're done with the centering breath, then it's time for us to share from our heart. If we're working with a specific emotion on that day, then we're going to share an experience from our emotion. And then we're going to connect the breath pattern, like let's just say we're doing happy breathing. So I'm going to share a story about being happy. And what does my body feel? So then I show them the story of the duck. I tell them the beautiful animated story of the duck. Then I teach them the breath pattern of the duck. And I explain why it's so important for our body to breathe this way when we're feeling happy or when we want a little bit more energy to be a little bit more joyful. So after that, we allow the children to express how they're feeling. And they can go to the sensations in the body and the emotions, especially for the lesson that we taught that day. And then we begin the loving inquiry process. The loving inquiry process is, by observation, is really seeing and maybe pulling from a child in that particular experience, how did your body feel? And where else do you feel it in your body? And what else happened? And then what is that sensation? And then just repeating it back to them. And then towards the end, we just ask if there's anything else that they want to share. It's a very active, beautiful meeting with children and their hearts. And it's different for every age level. For infant community and toddlers, it's very different. For Children's House Primary, it's a little bit less science-y. I mean, it's not as long. And then for upper and lower elementary, we really get into the science of the breath and what's happening in the body. This is what happens in a very fun, active, happy breathing lesson, whether we present it in individual or we present it as a group.